We're live.
We did it!
Yeah.
You're amazing. You're a goddess
And look
of
at our little
technology.
sign.
Oh, it's cute. It's a little glary, but
Yeah.
it's still good.
Dim the lights.
Ooh. Oh, it's the screen.
Oh. We'll figure it out.
I know. Oh, well, you can bring the lights up. I will. Actually, we look very flattering in this light, I think.
Yes. Okay.
Is anybody there?
Can you hear us?
Hello? Are we? Jason Smith's here. Hello.
Let us know that you can hear us.
Veronica can hear us. Hi, Veronica. Brian. Hi, Brian. Okay, so it's working.
Awesome.
We've never used this platform before. We're so close together.
Look.
Same room. Hey. Oh, and like there's a sneak preview of our Christmas art, if you can see it. It's got a little bit of a glare. Hi, Megan. But it is there. It's amazing. We'll give you the card. Yay. So like for our patrons, I guess we can preview it. This is our Christmas artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. We'll have merchandise available this week. I think Leslie said she's going to be putting stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Leslie's in charge of that because it's way too hard for me.
Show the back. Show the back.
Ooh. Oh, who brought you these cards? We did. That was good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have cards, which are super fun, and prints, not framed. I framed it because actually Will framed it because I want to have it forever, and it looks really good. What else? What else we have?
We have new T-shirts and tank tops that are in a maroon color like this.
Mm-hmm. They're beautiful cranberry.
Yes, that has the Christmas logo on it. Holiday.
Winter holiday. It could be for any winter holiday.
Even though it's Christmassy.
Yeah, it's a little Christmassy. Though
it's pagan.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a deer skull. We talk about skulls in our upcoming holiday special too. It'll be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the winter holidays. We cover most of them. Yeah. If you have Hanukkah ghost stories, please tell us. We don't have one. We'd like one.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we can give them another minute or so because it's only been up for 2 minutes, and then we'll just start telling stories.
Cool. How is everybody?
Yeah, how are we doing tonight?
Nice.
Festivus too? Sure. I'm not very Seinfeldian, but we'll celebrate whatever we can. Does it mean we can have drinks and pie?
Always.
Then yeah, we're going to celebrate that holiday.
It's a holiday. We have drinks and pie at every holiday.
I know. Especially Christmas Eve. But hopefully we'll have enough drinks that we then are like, let's go live. Because we're going to be together.
That's true.
So we technically could.
Yeah. Okay.
Be the whitest elephant.
That would be so uncomfortable.
Just anywhere. We'll go outside. If we have enough cocktails, we will do it.
We sure will. And my mother will be in the back going, Leslie.
I can't wait. Everyone will love to meet Diane.
Oh, no. My mom would go to bed early. She'd be in her PJs and she'd be like, good night.
Yeah, she would. Your mother would not be in them. She would be signing off. My children will be bouncing around in the background.
Yeah.
Jason Smith, you had your first fire in your fireplace tonight. How appropriate for campfire stories.
Wonderful.
We're not in front of our fire for the first time.
Oh, we have a candle.
We do have a candle. And we're very comfortable here.
Yeah. This is nice.
This is nice. We moved our table. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so what do we got now? 2 people. That's wrong.
It feels wrong.
It does feel wrong.
It feels like everybody's here.
It does. I mean, look at all those people that said things.
Yeah, they have to be here, right?
I guess. It just only says 2 up there. We're very confused. What are we streaming out of? YouTube? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hopefully you can hear our voices.
Your
my cats are rumbling. So hopefully everybody can hear us, and we will get going in a minute. We're doing some unsolved mysteries tonight.
Yes. Cold cases.
Ooh, spooky. I hate cold cases because I want to know.
I know. Yeah. I like them, although every time, even watching Unsolved Mysteries, I still keep waiting for them to have an ending, and I'm like, oh wait, every time.
I know. Every time I watch Unsolved Mysteries, I'm like, this one's gonna be like, but we know.
Yeah.
They don't know. They never know.
That would be false advertising.
That would be false advertising. You're right. Dead Katir roll call.
I think he's asking.
Oh,
everyone to
who's
do a roll call.
here? We're fiends, Brian. You know. We have a name. We've had a name since day one. That was at our first production meeting.
No, I think it was just a mistake.
It was a thing I typoed. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, then we kept it, so that's fine. Okay, so we're gonna tell some unsolved mysteries to 3 people are here.
I feel like they're all here.
I do
and then
too.
plus some more.
Hi, John! John Radicas is here. Yay!
Okay, good.
You made it. 4 people are here now.
Awesome. But there's more than 4.
One would think.
Unless we lost them all.
They all left. They were like, this sucks. Bye.
Okay. Megan, are you still here?
Jason is actively still here.
Yes. We
Check.
7.
Now it says 7.
Veronica's still here. Brian's still here. Okay. Oh, we
Okay.
jumped back up. Maybe there was an issue. Maybe they needed to.
Yeah, maybe they need to just like update us.
Okay.
We're very
We're
new
ready.
to YouTube Live.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We're
you
doing
guys. But we are. It looks nice, I think.
Oh, if somebody mutes the video. Oh, why are you muting the video?
Yeah, then you can't hear us talking.
Is it just to like look at us?
Hi, Megan. Oh, my eye twitch came back. Oh, it's like an Easter egg for you guys. Just watch for my stress-induced eye twitch.
Great.
It'll be great. So you look very ready. Would
very
you like to come?
I'm so ready.
Yeah, so tomorrow we have our Chris Watts episode coming out, by the way. So if you guys are one of the people who've been waiting for that one, the time is here. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll plug everything else when we're done. Because it looks like Jason says it doesn't consider them a viewer if they're not listening. Well. That's
Well, no,
because
he said if they go to like maybe if they go to another window for a time, so like they're listening, but they're like
don't
on
Facebook.
Facebook.
Don't like click out. Facebook can wait.
Stare at us for the next hour, please.
Do you want me to make faces while Leslie's reading? Does that help?
It doesn't.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Leslie's gonna tell us an unsolved mystery. I'm
Yes.
excited.
Or do we want to listen to Jason's conspiracy theories about why we don't have viewers?
I don't know. He might be right, but John Radicasa
Yeah.
said our quality isn't very good.
Okay.
So excited.
So excited. Okay. So today I bring the unsolved mystery of the murder of 32-year-old Lily Lindstrom. Lily was a sex worker whose murderer was named the Atlas Vampire.
Ooh, it has a good name.
For reasons we will get into, and whose identity has never been discovered.
No. I like her name too, Lily Lindstrom.
I know, it's very nice.
She sounds like she hangs out in Barbara Daly Bakeland times.
She might.
Oh.
Let's travel to Stockholm, Sweden in 1932.
Oh, I can't do that accent.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not even. I should have worn my braids tonight because I usually look like a little Swedish girl when I wear.
Did not prepare for this.
I know, I should have come in costume. I'm sorry, guys.
Next time, we will
Next
be very
time.
festively dressed.
Stockholm is the capital of Sweden and the most populous city of the Nordic countries. It was the place to be, just like New York City was for Americans, especially during
Swedish
that
New York.
time. Yes.
Dig it.
Lily Lindstrom lived alone in a 1-bedroom apartment in the Atlas area of Stockholm. The building had 5 to 6 floors with many tiny rooms. She did have heating in her own bathroom, which was pretty new for that time. Lily was kind of a novelty for her time as well. Before she became a sex worker, she had married a merchant in her late teens, but then divorced years later with no children. At 22, she moved to the Atlas area for a fresh start and to make her own way. She may have been doing well for a time, but then the Great Depression hit. So there were a lot of people struggling. And at some point, she had become, this is like when she became a sex worker.
Okay.
In 1931, she got her apartment in Atlas with the help of her friend Emily or Emma at each, it's like different every time.
Both are good.
Whom she had known for 6 years. Emily or Emma lived with her husband.
Let's just make a call. Which one do you like better?
I think I like Emily. I feel
You
like
feeling
it's
Emily? Then
Yeah.
that's her name now.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
I feel
Client
confident.
says Emily. We're good.
Great. All right.
You were right.
Great. So, Emily lived with her husband. Some accounts say that this area of Atlas was once a becoming area of the city, but after like so many years, it started to become like a seedy side, at least where her apartment was. Not sure if this is true, though. Tried to find some more info. At this point, Lily had begun her career as a sex worker. She lived a comfortable life, loved to shop, and enjoyed get-togethers.
I like all those things too.
Yeah, me too. She was nicknamed the call girl, not because of her profession, but because she was the only one in the apartment complex with a phone.
Oh, I was going to say, that's a very boring nickname, but it came from a place of creativity.
It did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like before any of that, too.
You're the call girl.
Yeah.
She's like, that doesn't mean what you think it means. Okay. You guys have never given me another nickname.
She let her neighbors use the phone as well. Some of her neighbors were also sex workers, so they would use the phone for business, allowing her, and this would allow them to be able to stay off the streets and have safer interactions with clients.
They were calling call girls.
Yes.
Got it.
She only gave her number out to regular clients. If she brought someone new into her home, she would hide the phone number so that they did not see it while they were in her apartment. She would also alert some of her neighbors when she had a client in. This way they could check in on each other.
That's nice.
Yeah, they had a little system. And I believe at this time in Sweden, prostitution was legal.
Okay.
So it was still like kind of looked down upon, but at the same time also people could just like let it go. Yeah.
Which is like, let it go.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And actually now it's legal. It's not illegal to sell sex, but it's illegal to buy sex in Sweden. So they don't put the fault on the, like...
Oh, so it's the person who is soliciting, not
Yes.
the actual sex worker. I mean, I
that
guess...
was supposed to decriminalize it, in a sense.
They didn't do, like, a great job doing that, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, there's still a lot of things, but that was like, what they got to with that.
I think I might crack the door. How do you feel about fresh air?
Sounds great.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
She also had a radio and would hold get-togethers so her neighbors and friends could enjoy it as well. And a few days before they found Lily's body, she was supposed to be hosting a big hangout with this radio.
Calling the girls?
Yeah.
Got it.
Saturday, April 30th, 1932, was Wahlburgers. I think it's...
Wahlburgers!
No, I think it's called Wahlburgers. Wahlburgers.
Walpurgis?
Walpurgis. Walpurgis.
That's
Okay.
it.
We're going to say that sentence again. Edit it.
We
John,
can't.
edit that.
We can't
All right. Saturday, April 30th, 1932 was Walpurgis Night, a holiday that was celebrated yearly honoring Saint Walpurgis, who was said to keep us safe from pest, rabies, whooping cough, and witchcraft.
I had whooping cough.
You could have used him.
I could have used St. Walpurgis.
It's now mostly...
How do I pray to him?
Well, it's now... Let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's now mostly a holiday to celebrate the coming of spring, but on this night in the town, the town was getting ready to celebrate by a large bonfire. So, well, we don't have one, but that's what we could have been doing.
Look at, we got a candle.
You play a lot of music, everyone's singing songs, you're making a lot of noise, and this noise would help to ward off evil spirits.
Get out of here, spirits.
Yeah, and
Got
whooping
it.
cough.
Get out of here, whooping cough. It's the worst.
This isn't really a family tradition, but it's more of like a community event. So it's all put on by the community.
So
and they're a
like-
little different in each like town. But
If there was a Hallmark movie about it, it would be the festival in the center of town.
yes,
In Christmas Cookie, Montana.
yes.
Okay.
Lily had invited some of her apartment up to her room to listen to a variety show on the radio that would start around 9:30 p.m. Afterwards, the group would head out to the square to participate in the Walpurgis festivities. However, when 9:30 rolled around, a few of her neighbors knocked on Lily's door to find no answer. They assumed she either forgot or went to the festival already. Unfortunately, this was not the case, and 4 days later, the police would find Lily dead on her daybed.
No.
So let's look at the events leading up to this night.
Let's look at it.
I know, this is really sad.
Oh.
The early afternoon of April 30th, Lily dropped by the apartment of her landlady, Ruth Johnson. She went to drop off her rent in advance for the month of May. Ruth invited her in for coffee. Ruth was heading out to buy flowers, and Lily joined. Afterwards, Lily invited Ruth and her husband to her apartment at 9:30 to listen to the variety show. Ruth accepted. Lily stopped at Emily's apartment on the way back to hers, and they all lived in the same building. Emily was about to head out to go shopping and invited Lily. Lily had like a great day of shopping.
Oh my god, that sounds great.
Yeah. Lily said, "Hell yeah, girl."
In Swedish.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, girl.
And when they returned, Emily went to Lily's apartment for coffee and left shortly after 6 p.m. As Lily was cleaning up, Minnie Yampson knocked on the door. Minnie was a 35-year-old sex worker and a good friend of Lily's. They talked about their plans for the night when the phone rang at about 6:30 p.m. Minnie recalls this phone call to the cops, saying that she leaned in to listen. The male on the other end had a nice, sober voice. I thought that was like interesting that she said it was like a nice and sober, like for him to call.
Maybe she's just used to hearing drunk.
That's what, yeah.
Drunkos.
She says Lily was confused at how the man got her number and even said, "But I don't know you." But Lily must have been fine with the exchange, and the man asked if she was free for a visit. He was close by and could be right over, and Lily agreed.
I like it.
Millie knew the drill and headed out so Lily could get ready. Minnie had to go pick up milk from the market anyways. During this period that she was away is when the man would come to Lily's apartment. So no one actually saw who this man was.
I don't like it.
Shortly after Minnie got home, Lily was knocking on her door and asked for a condom. This was normal behavior and was a way for the girls to check in with each other.
Okay.
Not much later, Lily was back asking for more condoms.
What?
This time, she was only wearing a trench coat and boots and nothing else.
Oh.
Yeah. Minnie was a little confused, but it seemed like Lily was in good spirits. So she handed her several condoms, and Lily went back to her apartment. She even said she was like skipping up the stairs, like humming, like,
Ooh.
Yeah.
She's having a good old time.
At around 9 p.m., Ruth and her husband headed to Lily's apartment, but there was no answer. She assumed she may have forgotten, or even though this wasn't like Lily. Ruth was also aware of Lily's profession, so she wondered if that was keeping her. Her and her husband left and went to the festival. Emily and her husband then knocked on Lily's door, but again, no answer. They were a little concerned, but also assumed that there was good reason for Lily bailing on them. Minnie was running a bit behind, but she got to Lily's apartment about 9:30. I think she actually she was like hoping to miss the variety show and just like go out with everybody.
I don't want to watch the variety show.
She knocked on the door and again, no answer. She figured the group may have already gone down to the festival and maybe Lily even brought her client with her. She tried knocking and calling her name out again just in case, but there was complete silence. Minnie headed to the fair and looked all over for Lily with no sign. When Minnie came home, she went to check on Lily, but no one answered the door. I just love how they're like all connected, like they keep checking.
That's nice.
Yeah. No one saw Lily the next day. This wasn't too alarming because she has gone off with clients before. Normally she would tell someone, but it was a busy night, so maybe they just kept missing each other. A couple days later, on May 4th, a male friend came knocking on her door. He ran into Minnie, asking if she knows where Lily is, and he had been trying to reach her with no luck. And also at this point, the phone had just been ringing and ringing off the hook. Mm-hmm. And I think so that was like a Saturday. On Monday, there was another friend, which might have been Emily. They had plans to like meet for like an early, like a brunch or something, and she like missed that as well.
Oh.
Yeah. So at this point, Minnie and her neighbors wanted to go to the police. Ruth, which was her landlord, went down to the station and told them of her concerns, and an hour later, a police officer was on scene. He knocked on Lily's door. Obviously, no one answered. He looked in her mailbox, like in the little slot, and noticed that the bathroom light was on, but the apartment seemed empty. He called for a fireman to come break down the door with him, and then that's when they found her body face down on the daybed in her lounge. She was naked with only a pair of socks and boots on. She had a pair of clothes neatly folded on a chair next to her. Her face had been smashed in with a blunt object on the right side with dried blood caked on her face.
Ugh.
She had one used condom protruding from her anus.
Oh, no!
And it would be determined that her killer hit her 3 times with some sort of pipe or wrench, killing her instantly.
Butt stuff and then a pipe to the head?
Yeah.
What a night.
Despite the scene they walked into, the apartment was spotless. There was no sign of struggle anywhere around the apartment. The bed beneath Lily had been made. There was a small pool of blood that had dripped from the bed to the floor, and they did find a blood-soaked tea towel in the sink. But other than that, there wasn't like splatters anywhere, and it was completely cleaned up. The officer called in homicide detectives immediately.
Yeah.
They brought in a medical examiner as well to assess the situation. He determined that Lily was killed several days prior, probably on Saturday night. He noted that she had saliva all on her neck and all over her body,
Ew!
and that it looked as though her body had been drained of blood.
Ew!
There just wasn't enough there. Like, she should have at least had some
So she
more.
she exsanguinated?
Mhm.
I love that word. It's almost covering up how much I hate the fact that somebody licked her all over.
The investigators were confused as to where her blood went. After
Yeah.
finding a blood-soaked gravy ladle in Lily's apartment,
No!
it was speculated that the killer may have drank her blood.
With a ladle!
But he probably didn't drink all of it right away, unless he was actually a vampire.
Maybe it was. We don't know.
You don't know. So where was the rest, and how did he, like, what did he do with it, or what did he want with it? Like, how did he get it out? Right? Like,
Could've
was it
been
a bucket?
Richard Trenton Chase and used buckets and yogurt cups.
Could have been, yeah. Whoever the killer was left a ton of DNA.
Yeah, licky licky.
All over. But obviously, because of the time,
Ew.
there was no DNA testing.
So gross.
Like you said that.
Licky licky.
They could test for fingerprints, but they did not find any unusual prints. They felt as though the killer knew how to cover his tracks. The police let Lily's friends check the apartment for his belongings. Everything was accounted for, even all of her money, and Lily was pretty well off, and robbery could have been a motive, but nothing was taken. At this time, she had like I'll just say it like in American dollars. She had, say, $1,000 in the bank, and the annual salary for a sex worker at the time was, say, $2,000, and she had already paid her rent for the month, and she still had $1,000 left. So she's like she's doing well.
She's good
Yeah.
at what she does.
Mhm.
Okay.
There was also somewhere that I heard she had they found 80 business cards like in
other people's
a
business
bowl.
cards?
Yeah,
Or
like other men. So
okay.
if she had that many people too, like she was doing a good business.
Con cards were like a thing then. Like if you had a
Yes.
bowl by your door, people would leave it there.
Yep.
So okay.
Whatever the murder weapon was, it did not belong to Lily, and it was not unseen because everything was
Mm.
accounted for. Minnie mentioned that Minnie mentioned to the police the condoms that she had given Lily. The investigator said that they only found one, and that was the one they found on Lily. They did find empty wrappers, though. So
they're
where
like,
were the extra condoms?
You found one in her butt and the rest are gone?
Yeah. Maybe he was filling them up.
Ew, ew, ew. Like the worst water balloons in the world?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Minnie also noticed that the phone number was missing from the telephone. Lily only did this when she had new clients who didn't know her number. So this way, like, they didn't see it and then call her later.
Okay.
But this guy already had her number, so why would she have taken it off the phone? And so unless maybe she had a second client come in between. So there's
like still there?
Or it just was like maybe that client came, left, and maybe she had a second person come in between.
Okay.
So that's what Minnie was just like, I don't know if it was just this guy or if there was like a second person.
Wait, Brian, what are you asking about? Hers or a client's what? I want to make sure we get you before we move on. Condom in her butt? It was her friend Emily's condom.
Oh, the cards. Oh, they were client cards, like guys, like men's cards.
So they left their
like
card
business.
with her.
It was like a business card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not hers, like, take one as you leave.
Exactly.
Leave
Yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she had like 80 other people's cards.
That's a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Ruth told officers that after she knocked and got no answer from Lily's apartment, they headed out and looked up at her apartment to see that the shades were up and the lights were off. However, when the first officer arrived on scene, he saw that the bathroom light was on, and this light would have been seen from the streets. So was the killer still in the room when they were knocking on the door?
Oh, I hate that. No, thank you.
Investigators continued to question friends and clients days after, but any new information did not lead anywhere and then just left them with more questions. And none of Lily's clients were found to have any involvement. She did have a couple people that were kind of considered more like a relationship status. And so they brought them in for like a lot of questioning, but they ended up being able to be let go. They just couldn't find anything that would consider them. Lily was buried on May 16th in her hometown, and she was the oldest of 9 children.
Wow.
Yeah. Police continued to investigate her case for a while until it finally went cold. And investigators collected evidence from Lily's body, including hair and nail clippings, and the Stockholm Police Museum has these samples, along with the wrappers from the condom she borrowed from her friend and crime scene drawings. So these are like all up for
Because I
you
want
to
to go to
see.
all the crime scene museums. There's
Yeah.
a good one in Paris. I need to see everything.
Mm-hmm. So this
That's
was
nuts.
Yeah, this was a wild case, and it was so they had brought in a lot of her regulars. They had like a phone book from her, and they questioned a lot of people. They had I was having trouble because all of the evidence for this is in Swedish, and I had
You keep having those cases.
I know. And I do actually have a friend in Sweden, so maybe I will like have her help me with
Erica.
some. Erica, I know. So I was thinking about asking her to look these up because I only found one. There was a couple podcasts on this, and this one podcast had a ton of information that I couldn't like corroborate.
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 I hate that
I
word
know.
too. I never say it right either. It's the worst word.
Yeah. Or fact check.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there we go.
You got an alternate
Yeah.
after 40 episodes.
Yeah. Did it.
Good.
So one of the things that they mentioned is there was a little cafe called Norma's Cafe, which if you watch Twin Peaks, that's the cafe. in
Oh, I
Twin
like
Peaks.
that.
Norma
Yeah.
said that a man around 9:00 on that Saturday, April 30th, came down to the restaurant and ordered 2 steak dinners, and they had and they were to go.
Oh,
And
okay.
he had like serving dishes to put them in, and she was like, "Oh, those look like Lily's." Like it was like a something like that reminded her, and she was
China
like,
or
"Oh
something.
yeah, like Lily always brings these in. That's interesting." And it was just like it was probably weird too because it was a man coming in with like the serving dishes to take out. I don't know, but so she mentioned that, so who knows what that was about.
He took condoms full of blood out of his pocket and put them on the steaks. So that was weird.
And you think he was getting enough iron? Like why would he need steak?
You
I don't know.
vampires got a vampire. I don't know what to tell you.
But yeah, the town really went for the vampire thing because this was, right after that Victorian era, so everybody was into
Yeah,
vampires.
they love a creature.
Yeah, Bram Stoker already like wrote that book, so they were like super into it. And then what was the other? Oh, so the Jack the Ripper had already been going around, but they knew they couldn't connect these 2 cases because it wasn't the same MO. But it was just something like, it was just because it was a sex worker. That was it.
But they wanted to connect everything to the Whitechapel murders then too. They were like, it's H.H. Holmes, it's this guy.
Right.
Like, anybody who did stuff, they wanted to make Jack the Ripper really badly.
And then the police also did know about in America the Black Dahlia case. And so they were considering that if the person was like draining blood or doing something like that, maybe it was like a surgeon of some sort as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was they would have come up behind her. I mean, they were probably behind her is what was happening.
I mean, she had butt stuff and then a pipe to the
Yeah.
head.
So it was, she was like taken off guard with that.
Yeah.
And,
one would be.
Yeah. But it's very, that's it. That's all the information they have. They haven't been able to find anybody.
Do you guys have any like questions or comments or compliments for Leslie? She did a very good job. Should tell her about it.
My skin's feeling dry today.
Oh
No,
no!
just kidding.
I said butt stuff like 3 times,
You
so I'm trying to give the people what they want. Is that what you want? I don't know. Trying to be helpful. I'm pulling up my case as we speak.
Pipes and butt stuff.
I mean, yeah, Jason, that's we're trying to, be cool with the kids. Right?
Yeah.
Now, though.
I don't know.
Mine is not in a weird turn of events. Mine is not as graphic.
Great.
Usually mine's like, here comes the gross
Yeah.
one. But no, Leslie got it this time. Are we all set? Are we ready for another story? Would have never guessed that. Yeah, I know. Me neither. It's hard to trump that one. There was like,
Don't say that word.
oh, I know. I actually looked up in like a thesaurus. Yeah, I did other words for that to be like, I don't want to say that anymore. But they were, I don't remember. I like that word works for, I don't know. John, whoa, my cat's hissing.
Really?
Hold on. Her friend wants to come inside. It's my other cat. Surprise. What did you do? Did you say
Thank you, Veronica. Jason, I feel like Leslie covered all the bases.
She covered all 4 bases
I sure did.
in that story. Okay, well, mine is about the Somerton man. So mine is taking us to Australia.
Ooh, out of the country.
Yeah, I mean, you were too.
Yeah.
But we haven't done. I don't think we've done an Aussie
We haven't.
case yet. Do we have any listeners in Australia?
We do. I think we have 1 or 2 people.
Yeah, I mean, we covered guys. We have listeners all over the place. It's bananas.
I know.
It's very exciting. But we do have a couple Aussies who will have to like give a story to in the near future. Jason, yeah. Everybody, the aliens, no. I hate.
Okay, but so if it was a vampire, maybe that is an alien race. There we go. Done.
You ruining sexy vampires for me. Why would you do that? That's
I
terrible.
don't feel like this one was sexy.
That was not at all. We don't know.
Like,
He got her to be like, I'm in my trench coat and boots, butt stuff.
yeah, but like, why bust the head?
I don't know, dude. My Black Dahlia stuff.
I guess.
Okay. On December 1st, 1948, so we're all old-timey tonight, too. We love an old-timey. Dennis, just the first
hey,
story.
Denny. Yeah.
Oh, Denny!
I think this saves, though, so you'll be able to hear the first one, which was mine, so.
And we'll try and get the sound off it, too, like we usually do. If Will can do it, we'll try and like have just the sound for patrons, too.
Okay.
If anybody wants to just listen.
If not, it should live on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, plus you can see her face. So good. I like that we both made really good faces.
We're such good smilers.
I can't control my face when I need to, though. We found that out.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I know, the minute a camera pops on, I'm like, what do we do?
I know.
I forgot how to smile.
We both have one eye and Bell's palsy. We're like, oh no. Okay. All right. We got a new person in here. I got real excited.
Yeah.
On December 1st, 1948 at 6:30 a.m., the police were contacted after the body of a man was discovered on Somerton Park Beach near Glenelg, which is about 6.8 miles southwest of Adelaide, South Australia. For any of you secret Aussies in the audience tonight. The rest of us will be just satisfied to know that this was in Australia.
Yes.
On a beach. So we have that. The man
I
was...
love that name, Adelaide.
It is a good name.
Yeah.
It's a town, not a person. Still good, though.
I know, but it's perfect.
Yeah. The man was found lying in the sand across from the, quote, crippled children's home.
Oh.
A horrible name for an establishment, I know, but remember this is 1948 and the word crippled was perfectly acceptable then.
Yeah.
So don't blame me.
We're the ones that made it terrible.
We
Like,
kind of
through the
are.
years,
I
yeah.
mean, but you know, people who have disabilities don't like it, so I don't want to
Well,
say
they don't like it now because of how we used it.
I guess you're right. I'm not using it. The old-timey Australian people are, and so blame them. The man was lying with his head resting against the seawall and his legs extended, his feet crossed at the ankle. It appeared that the man had died while he was sleeping. An unlit cigarette was lying on the right collar of his coat. Authorities searched his pockets and found an unused second-class rail ticket from Adelaide to Henley Beach, a bus ticket from the city that may or may not have been used. A U.S.-manufactured, narrow aluminum comb, remember we're in Australia, so this is different, a half-empty packet of juicy fruit chewing gum, which is the worst gum, an Army Club cigarette packet, which contained 7 cigarettes, but the cigarettes were a different brand, and a quarter-full box of Bryant & May matches. So for whatever reason, he had an Army Club cigarette box filled with another brand of cigarettes, which is admittedly strange, but maybe that was like his lucky box, or maybe he ran out and someone had given him a handful of cigarettes for his trip, and he just put them in his existing pack. who knows? No one knows, because this case is unsolved as hell.
Is it?
Yes. Oh, that's what I think tonight. Did you have that moment of hope where maybe I was like, JK, I got it?
Yeah.
No. Witnesses who came forward said that on the evening of November 30th, they had seen a person resembling the dead man lying on his back in the same spot and position near the crippled children's home where the corpse was later found. So it was probably him. The chances that it was another man who looked just like him laying in the exact same location are pretty slim. A couple who saw him at around 7 p.m. noted that they saw him extend his right arm to its fullest extent, like whoop, and then drop it. Well, no salute. They said it kind of looked like he was like maybe going to try to smoke a cigarette and then failed, but they couldn't really tell what it was. And then they just ignored it. Another couple who saw him from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. recounted that they did not see him move at all during the half an hour which he was in their view. They commented between themselves that it was odd that he wasn't reacting to the mosquitoes, which were insufferable that evening. But they had thought that it was more likely he was drunk or asleep, and so they did not investigate further. Or he was dead. He was probably dead. He was definitely dead.
Are mosquitoes ever sufferable?
They're not.
Yeah.
I guess there was just like a lot of them that night.
I think it was the mosquitoes then.
I wasn't. We'll find out. One of the witnesses told the police she saw another man looking down at the sleeping man from the top of the steps that led to the beach. Witnesses say they saw the body in the same position as the police had found it in. So everybody saw the same thing. Wait, what if we solve it tonight?
What if?
Please solve it tonight. I would love that more than anything. If you were like, I did it, solved.
We did it.
I would be the happiest person. So to review, this body had been there for some time and had remained untouched because so very many people assumed that he was just sleeping on the ground with no blanket or anything. According to the pathologist John Burton Cleland, the man was of Britisher appearance, which meant that he looked fashionable and European, and was approximately 40 to 45 years old and in, quote, top physical condition. Yeah. The man was 5'11", with gray eyes and fair to ginger-colored hair that had just begun to gray around the temples. The man had broad shoulders and a narrow waist. His hands and nails showed no sign of manual labor. His feet, however, gave the coroner pause. His big and little toes met in a wedge shape, like those of a dancer or someone who had worn boots with pointed toes. And though he was middle-aged, he had pronounced, extremely athletic-looking high calf muscles. They were said to be, quote, consistent with people who regularly wore boots or shoes with high heels or performed ballet. He was dressed in a white shirt, a red, white, and blue tie, brown trousers, socks, and shoes, a brown knitted pullover, and a fashionable gray and brown double-breasted jacket of reportedly American tailoring. Ooh, yeah, he's a snappy gent. I like him.
He said, Ed Sheeran. Okay, not Ed Sheeran.
I mean, a very athletic Ed Sheeran. All the labels on his clothing had been removed, and he wore no hat, which at the time would have been unusual. He also carried no wallet. He was clean-shaven and carried no identification, which led police to believe he had probably committed suicide. Finally, the man's dental records were not able to be matched to any known person. So he's like a ghost. He has no records of existing anywhere ever on the earth. Yeah. So, like I said, here we have dead on a beach, a fancy dancer man with no identifying factors whatsoever, who is maybe Ed Sheeran. I don't know. The autopsy was then conducted, and the pathologist estimated his time of death at around 2 a.m. on December 1st. So, if the witnesses' accounts had been correct, the man on the beach, and the man on the beach was the same as the mysterious body that was discovered, that would mean he had been laying there alive for quite some time before he expired. So all those people that were like, the mosquitoes didn't bite him or something, that's weird. He was still alive when they saw him.
Oh.
Yeah. The coroner found his heart to be of normal size and in normal condition in every other way. So the following stuff I'm going to say is directly from a coroner's report. So it's going to sound like kind of confusing, have like a weird technical vibe to it, but just in case. Small vessels not commonly observed in the brain were easily discernible with congestion, indicating that there had been accumulation of fluid in his brain. There was congestion of the pharynx and the gullet, a word I hate so much, was covered with whitening of superficial layers of mucosa with a patch of ulceration in the middle of it. The stomach was deeply congested, which is more fluid around there. There was congestion in the second half of the duodenum. There was blood mixed with the food in the stomach. Both kidneys were congested, and the liver contained a great excess of blood in its vessels. The spleen was strikingly large, about 3 times its normal size. There was destruction of the center of the liver lobules, revealed under the microscope, acute gastritis, hemorrhage, extensive congestion of the liver and spleen, and in other words, most likely he was poisoned. Yeah, because everything in his body is messed right up. The autopsy showed that the man's last meal was a pasty eaten 3 to 4 hours before death, but tests failed to reveal any foreign substances in his body. Well, initial tests didn't reveal anything foreign. The pathologist, Dr. Dwyer, concluded, quote, "I am quite convinced the death could have been natural. The death could not have been natural, I'm sorry. The poison I suggested was a barbiturate or a soluble hypnotic, both of which are sedatives or sleep aids. And neither was found in even trace amounts in this man's body. Although poisoning remained a prime suspicion, the pasty was not believed to be the source. Other than that, the coroner was unable to reach a conclusion as to the man's identity or cause of death. The body was then embalmed on the 10th of December, 1948, after the police were unable to get a positive identification. But wait, there's more. On January 14th, 1949, staff at the Adelaide railway station discovered an abandoned brown suitcase with its label removed. Yeah, which had been checked into the station cloakroom after 11 a.m. on November 30th, 1948. Yep. It was believed that the suitcase was owned by the man found on the beach. In the case were a red checked dressing gown, a size 7 red felt pair of slippers, I have little tiny feet, 4 pairs of underwear, pajamas, shaving items, a light brown pair of trousers with sand in the cuffs, so our man loves a beach, an electrician's screwdriver, a table knife cut down into a short, sharp instrument, so like a shank of some kind, a small, a pair of scissors with sharpened points, so like a double shank of some kind, a small square of zinc thought to have been used as a protective sheath for the knife and scissors, and a stenciling brush as used by the third officers on merchant ships for stenciling cargo. So that's a fun, bizarre, and cryptic set of materials that answer absolutely no questions. The cops were baffled. Also in the suitcase was a thread card. So like if you wound thread around the little thing, it's like how embroidery floss comes now sometimes. For Barber brand orange waxed thread, which was, quote, an unusual type that was not available in Australia. It was the same as the kind that had been used to repair the lining in a pocket of the trousers the dead man was wearing. All identification marks on the clothing in the suitcase had been removed, but police found the name T. Keen on a tie, Keen on a laundry bag, and Keen without the last E on a singlet, along with 3 dry cleaning marks. Police believe that whoever removed the clothing tags either overlooked these 3 items or purposefully left the Keen tags on the clothing, knowing that Keen was not the dead man's name, thinking this would throw detectives off the scent. You know, it's all very mysterious. With wartime rationing still enforced, clothing was difficult to acquire at the time. Although it was a very common practice to use name tags, it was also common when buying secondhand clothing to remove the tags of the previous owner, which would explain why it wasn't more concerning that every label has been removed from every single article of clothing he had. They were probably all secondhand. A search was conducted and concluded that there was no T. Keen missing in any English-speaking country. And a nationwide circulation of the dry cleaning marks also provided no matches at all. In fact, oh no, my cat is in a candle. Sorry, that's my cat. Just didn't want her to burn her tail. In fact, all that could be garnered from the suitcase was that the man's coat had been made in the United States, but was not imported. So he must have had purchased it while he was in the United States himself. Yeah. Police checked incoming train records and believed the man had arrived at the Adelaide railway station by overnight train from either Melbourne, Sydney, or Port Augusta. They speculated he had showered and shaved at the adjacent city baths before returning to the train station to purchase a ticket for the 10:50 a.m. train to Henley Beach, which, for whatever reason, he missed or did not catch. He immediately checked his suitcase at the station cloakroom before leaving the station and catching a city bus instead to Glenelg. An additional inquest into the man's death, conducted by coroner Thomas Erskine Cleland, commenced a few days after the body was found, but then was adjourned until June 17, 1949. Cleland, as investigating pathologist, re-examined the body and made a number of new discoveries. He noted that the man's shoes were remarkably clean and appeared to have been recently polished, rather than being in the state expected of the shoes of a man who had apparently been wandering around Glenelg all day. He added that this evidence fitted in with the theory some had that the body might have been brought to Somerton Park Beach after the man's death. This would also account for the lack of evidence of vomiting, which would have been an effect of the poison they suspected he had ingested. Early in the inquiry, Cleland stated, quote, "I would be prepared to find that he died from poison," end quote. The only practical solution, he was informed by eminent Professor Sir Cedric Stanton Hicks, was that a very rare poison had been used, one that had decomposed very early after death, leaving no trace. So it's kind of like strychnine when we talked about poison, stuff that leaves your body real fast, and so when they perform an autopsy, they can't find it. Hicks, the poison capable of this was so deadly and dangerous that Hicks would not even say their names aloud in open court. Instead, he passed Cleland a scrap of paper on which he had written the names of two possible candidates, and they were digitalis and strophanthin. Hicks suspected the latter, strophanthin, is a rare glycoside derived from the seeds of some African plants. Historically, it was used by a little-known Somali tribe to tip poison arrows. So, like, not something you find on a beach in Australia,
Right.
just like lying around. It was very strange that he had that. And digitalis is a medication derived from the foxglove plant, which we have talked about before. And if given in small doses, it can effectively treat some heart disease, but go over just a little bit, and you're dead. Cleland, who was also an emeritus professor of pathology at the University of Adelaide, produced a final piece of evidence while examining the dead man's possessions, one that would prove to be the most baffling of all. Cleland discovered in a small pocket sewn into the waistband of the dead man's trousers. He discovered this little pocket. Like, it was a little secret sewn in pocket, so no one had seen it before. Previous examiners totally missed it, and several accounts of the case has referred to it as a secret pocket. I just said that. But it seems to have been intended to hold a pocket watch. Inside, instead, they found a tightly rolled, tiny little scrap of paper, which, when opened up, contained two words, typeset in elaborate fancy print, and the phrase read, "Tamam should." What's that mean? I know, it's very mysterious. Frank Kennedy, the police... Now my cat's having a big drink. The police reporter for the Adelaide Advertiser recognized the words as Persian and telephoned the police to suggest that they obtain a copy of a book of poetry called the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. This work, written in the 12th century, had become popular in Australia during the war years in a much-loved translation by a man named Edward Fitzgerald. It's existed in numerous editions, but the usual intricate police inquiries to libraries, publishers, and bookshops failed to find the one that matched this super fancy type on this little scrap of paper. At least it was possible, however, to say that the words Tamam should did come from Khayyam's romantic reflections on life and mortality. They were, in fact, the very last words in most English translations. Not surprising, because the phrase means, "It has ended."
Ooh.
I know. What are we saying, John? Could have been injected under his tongue, and the puncture would have... Ooh. Could be. I don't know. I think they suspected it was ingested in one way or another. We'll get... Oh, I needed a minute. We'll get there. In July, fully 8 months after the investigation had begun, the search for the right copy of the Rubaiyat produced results. On the 23rd, a Glenelg man walked into the detective office in Adelaide with a copy of the book and a strange story.
Early the previous December, just after the discovery of the unknown body, he had gone for a drive with his brother-in-law in a car he kept parked a few hundred yards from Somerton Beach. The brother-in-law had found a copy of the Rubaiyat lying on the floor by the rear seats. Each man had silently assumed that it belonged to the other one. And the book sat in the glove compartment ever since. Alerted by a newspaper article about the search, the two men had gone back to take a closer look, and they found that the part of the final page had been torn out. Together with Khayyam's final words, they went to the police. So the little place that said Taman Shud was cut out of this book. So that's the book it was from. Detective Sergeant Lionel Lean took a close look at the book. Almost at once, he found a telephone number penciled in the rear cover. Using a magnifying glass, he dimly made out the faint impression of some other letters written in capitals underneath. Here at last, we had a solid clue. The phone number was unlisted, but it proved to belong to a young nurse who lived near Somerton Beach. Like the two Glenelg men, she has never been publicly identified. People don't want people to know who they are. The South Australia police of 1949 were disappointingly willing to protect witnesses embarrassed to be linked to this case. That's just a quotation from somebody. And she is now known only by her nickname, Jestin. Reluctantly, it seemed, perhaps because she was living at that point with the man, because she was living with a man who would become her husband, the nurse admitted that she had indeed presented a copy of the Rubaiyat to a man she had known during the war. She gave the detectives his name, Alfred Boxall. At last, the police felt confident that they had solved the mystery. Boxall surely was the unknown man, and within days they traced his home to Melbourne, New South Wales. The problem was that Boxall turned out to still be alive, and he still had the copy of the Rubaiyat Jestin had given him. It bore the nurse's inscription, but was completely intact. The scrap of paper hidden in the dead man's pocket must have come from somewhere else. It may have helped if South Australia police had felt able to question Jestin more closely, but it is clear they did not. The gentle probing that the nurse received did yield some intriguing bits of information. When interviewed again, she recalled that some time in the previous year, she couldn't be certain of when, she had come home to be told by her neighbors that an unknown man had called and asked for her. And when she was confronted with the cast of the dead man's face, because they had made a plaster cast of his face and shoulders, because they couldn't preserve this body that nobody wanted to claim forever. So this is the next best thing we can do. We'll just keep him. And so they showed Jestin this cast of her and said, do you recognize this plaster man? And she was completely taken aback to the point of appearing that she was about to faint. Lean said she seemed to recognize the man, yet firmly denied that it was anyone she knew. Yeah, so she was very obviously lying to the police.
She just faints at plaster.
Oh, no. Not paper mache. I cannot.
She can't get new sidewalks.
No, it's the worst. That left the faint impressions that Sergeant Lean had noticed in the back of the Rubaiyat. Examined under ultraviolet light, 5 lines of jumbled letters could be seen, the second of which had been crossed out. The first 3 were separated from the last 2 by a pair of straight lines with an X written over them, and it seemed that they were some sort of code. Breaking a code from only a small fragment of text is exceedingly difficult, but the police did their best. They sent the message to Naval Intelligence, home to the finest cipher experts in Australia, and allowed the message to be published in the press. This produced a frenzy of amateur code breaking. Ooh, a frenzy. Almost all of it was worthless, and the message from the Navy coding concluded that the code appeared to be completely unbreakable. And there, to all intents and purposes, the mystery rested. The Australian police never cracked the code or identified the unknown man. Jestin died a few years ago without revealing why she had seemed likely to faint when confronted with a likeness of the dead man's face. And when the South Australia coroner published the final results of his investigation in 1958, his report concluded with the final admission. Quote, "I am unable to say who the deceased was. I am unable to say how he died or what was his cause of death." In recent years, though, the Taman Shud case has begun to attract new attention. Amateur sleuths have probed at the loose ends left by police, solving 1 or 2 minor mysteries, but often creating new ones in their stead. And 2 especially persistent investigators, retired Australian policeman Jerry Feltis, author of a book about it that hasn't been published yet, and Professor Derek Abbott of the University of Adelaide had made particularly useful progress. Both freely admit that they have not solved the mystery, but let's close by briefly looking at the remaining puzzles and leading theories. First, the man's identity remains unknown. It is generally presumed that he was known only to Justin and may well have been the man who called at her apartment. But even if he was not, the nurse's shocked response when confronted with the body cast was telling. Maybe the solution was found in her activities during World War II. Was she in the habit of presenting men friends with copies of the Rubaiyat? And if so, might the dead man have been a former boyfriend or more, whom she did not wish to confess to knowing? Abbott's research suggests that as much, for he has traced Justin's identity and discovered that she had a son. Minute analysis of the surviving photos of the unknown man, because there are pictures of him, and I'll post them somewhere for you guys, and Justin's child reveals intriguing similarities, such as the same uniquely misshapen ear. Might the dead man have been the father of her son? Could Justin have hidden her son's true parentage from him and her husband all of those years only to have her long-buried past show up on her doorstep? Could she have turned the man away and in his grief he decided to end his own life? I know! It's also romantic and maddening. Those who argue against this theory point to the cause of the man's death. How credible is it, they say, that someone would commit suicide by dosing himself with a poison of, super rarity? Digitalis and even streptanthen can be found in pharmacies, but never off the shelf. Both poisons are muscle relaxants used to treat heart disease. The apparently exotic nature of the death suggests to these theorists that the unknown man was possibly a spy.
Oh, I know that's always
I know, they always might be a spy. Alfred Boxall had worked in intelligence during the war, and the unknown man died, after all, at the onset of the Cold War, and at a time when the British rocket testing facility at Woomera, a few hundred miles from Adelaide, was one of the most secret bases in the world. It has even been suggested that poison was administered to him via his tobacco, which could have been why the cigarettes did not match the box. Far-fetched as this seems, there are two more genuinely odd things about the mystery of Taman Shud that point away from anything as mundane as suicide. The first is that the apparent impossibility of locating the exact duplicate of the Rubaiyat handed to the police in July of 1949. Exhaustive inquiries by Jerry Feltis at last tracked down a near-identical version with the same cover, published by a New Zealand bookstore chain named Whitcomb and Toombs. But it was published in a squarer format, so not exactly the same. Add that one to one of Derek Abbott's leads, and the puzzle gets even more peculiar. Abbott discovered that at least one other man died in Australia after the war with a copy of Kamyab's poems close to him. This man's name was George Marshall, and he was a Jewish immigrant from Singapore, and his copy of the Rubaiyat was published in London by Methuen, a 7th edition. So far, this is not especially peculiar and probably seems kind of boring. But inquiries to the publisher and to libraries around the world suggest that there were never more than 5 editions of Methuen's Rubaiyat, which means that Marshall's 7th edition was a non-existent book, as known as the unknown man's Whitcomb and Toombs appears to also be. Might the books have not been books at all, but disguised spy gear of some, say like a one-time passcode that they used? We don't know. Which brings us to the final mystery. Going through the police file on the case, Jerry Feltis stumbled across a neglected piece of evidence, a statement given in 1959 by a man who had been on Somerton Beach, there on the evening that the unknown man expired and walking toward the spot where his body was found. The witness, a police report stated, quote, saw a man carrying another man on his shoulders near the water's edge. He could not describe the man. At the time, this did not seem that mysterious. The witness assumed he had seen someone carrying a drunken friend. Looked at, though, in the cold light of day, it raises questions. After all, none of the people who saw the man lying on the seafront earlier had noticed his face. Might he not have been the unknown man at all? Might the body found the next morning have been the one seen on a stranger's shoulders? And if so, might this conceivably suggest that this really was a case involving spies and murder? You will never know.
I think it was aliens.
I don't. If you want to know what I think, I am of the mind that he met that woman, the nurse, during the war, and they had an affair, and she had a husband, and her son resulted from this affair with this man, and she left him with this book. And after he never let go of the relationship, he stayed in love with her, and then discovered that they had had a son. And after all those years, he went back to find them, and he did find them. And when he got to her house, she rejected him and that was too much for him to handle. And maybe he also was a spy. I mean, he was apparently in the war, so he could have also had that medication.
Maybe they were spies together, and that's how she had that book.
Oh my
and
God,
then, but then
love
she
that.
got out of it because
Let's make that movie.
Okay.
I would watch the shit out of that.
Oh,
Oh, it's romantic.
kidding.
I love it too. Yeah, so that's the story of the Somerton man. It's an ongoing mystery, and it's like Australia's biggest unsolved case and mystery. There are a lot of other like weird. There is an aliens, as I mean, some people say it, of course, that always do. Like it's like Zygmunt Adamski. It's the same kind of thing. But there are like a million theories about it out there. Another podcast that covers it is Red Handed. They did a good job with it.
Okay.
If you want more. Yeah, so do you guys have any questions about that one? I will do my best to answer it, but it's very mysterious. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad this worked.
It did work, and it
Yeah.
looks so nice.
Yeah.
So we'll be all set up for our not Christmas, winter holiday.
Yes.
I'm being good. Extravaganza. 1949 do be wild. I mean,
Doobie-doo.
I know. I can't anymore. Oh, thank you. What if she killed him? No, John! We had this all worked out. It was so nice. I mean, maybe she gave
Maybe
him
it was like
cigarettes.
a romantic death.
Maybe it was like
Maybe
a
it was
mercy
like-
killing. Maybe he was sick.
Yeah, and she like held him, and they cried.
And then he like showed him pictures of his son. We really want this to be what's his name movie, Nicholas Sparks. That's what we're looking for right now.
Yes.
Do you want some more wine?
Sure.
We just had
Just
had
had
a moment. We're both picturing this beautiful like sunset where she's mercy killing the father of her son, and John's like, maybe she killed him dead. I don't know, you guys. With Ed Sheeran playing in the background. I mean, he will be in our version of this.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. He would do it.
yeah,
He likes to do weird shit.
we're just gonna be that famous very soon. Tell your friends,
All of them.
all your friends, even people you don't like. Tell them too.
Tell them.
We will take all of them. Bring them on. So, coming up next, and if you have cat questions, you can keep them rolling in. I've never been to Australia. Yeah, me neither.
Fiend trip.
That's the most feasible of all the trips you
Yeah.
want to go on.
We'll hit Australia and then we'll shoot over to Sweden.
We can stay with Erica in Sweden. We're fine.
Okay.
We actually know somebody there. I don't think I know anybody in Australia.
I have friends who know friends in Australia, so maybe we can bring them with us.
I mean, help us get famous enough to garner a tour there, and we'll show you all this stuff. We'll video while we're there. We'll take you to Somerton Beach. Can I post a photo suite specifically to Patreon?
Yep.
Okay, because I can give you, I don't know if you have pictures, but there are a lot of pictures, or you can just Google Somerton Man and Taman should. And that will show you pictures of the guy, like his body. You can see pictures of the cast. You can see pictures of the contents of his suitcase, of the little word, of the code. They have pictures of absolutely everything because this is like a big deal over there. Yeah, so coming up tomorrow, we have our coverage of the Watts family murders and horrible dirtbag Chris Watts. As terrible of a case as it is, I think it's a pretty good episode.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Me too. And then next week, we are covering the history of Sideshow.
I'm excited about
I'm very excited, and my friend Jason, who is a Sideshow performer and master of ceremonies, will be our guest. So it's our first guest. I know. I'm really excited. Jason
to
is
not dance like that. That's like
Yeah. I love that you did.
I don't like it.
You're
Why am
still
I
doing it. Oh no. More. Keep going. Yes. So yeah, next week we're going to talk about sideshows and all the good, the bad, and the ugly therein. It's been a pet research project of mine for a great many years. So I've read so many things about sideshows.
Yeah,
I'm real pumped to talk about it.
I always wanted to be in a circus.
Yeah.
There was a show on Disney that was like
Okay.
the kids would join. It was a kids circus,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this episode where I think it was like the first day of like the circus camp, and the mom and dad were driving their son to it, and they told them and what they say? They said something like, "Back in our day, children had to run away to the circus, but we're just taking you."
I mean, that's fair.
And I was like, I want to go to the
I
circus.
want that too. I want to dangle from silks.
I know.
I want to do that.
I wanted to be the lion tamer.
Okay, you do that, and I'll hang from silks, and we'll be a circus.
Okay.
And we'll invite my pal Jason to do up.
Brian says, I should introduce you to my friend Martin, Pyrotech and Sword Swallower, not a euphemism. Oh, yeah, well, Jason does fire eating and fire spitting, and he is, I think, he's like learning sword swallowing now, and he also does pincushion, which is like he sticks like needles through his face, and
wow.
he does a lot of like banana stuff. He's the guy at the end that if you like tip them, you staple gun money to him. I have staple gun money to his face.
What is John saying?
I did not want to. Oh, what is he singing? I will never leave you. He knows. That's the musical sideshow.
Oh.
John, if you were here, we would be singing it together right now.
And I would just be awkwardly drinking. You guys know Hamilton?
Less sideshowy.
Yeah.
And nobody wants me to rap. Ever.
No.
In life.
No,
Let's
I
keep
don't think
singing
I do.
sideshow. Beside you is where I will stay. Where's John? So yeah, that's what we got. And then we have a whole bunch of really seasonally appropriate murders coming up.
We do.
We have so many.
I like December.
I do like December
is
too. How
fun.
many do we have in here? 7.
Yeah, I think we still have everybody.
We are going to cover John Benet Ramsey. So tell your friends.
Tell them all.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Pretty much we have this wrapped up. I mean, I feel like I know who did it.
Yeah. Ooh, also, they're on Halloween, we are releasing our 30-minute horror movie.
Halloween already happened.
Oh, I'm sorry, Thanksgiving. Oh my god, I pulled what that girl did in the movie. You guys will get that on Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, and thank you, John Radicasa, for recommending Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It was good / terrible.
Mm-hmm. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
Boy, do we say a lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
I lose my whole mind. I forget everything that happened. And then Leslie is like a super trooper.
I loved this movie.
She did. She loved it. Oh my goodness.
I love this so much.
Murducken. That is a good word. I like that. That is appropriate to that horrible turkey.
Yeah.
It looks like it's the worst thing.
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, we had a moment with the killer turkey. That's all right. Do we have anything else coming up? Oh, Christmas merch stuff. So yeah, keep your eyes open for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some out this week. It should be up for Black Friday, if not sooner. I might have it out sooner, but it'll at least be. We'll see how productive I get tomorrow. Yeah.
I'm taking off tomorrow. I'm doing nothing, and I'm gonna try and make my eye stop twitching. It twitched a bunch during this broadcast. I wonder if anybody caught it. Not this side that I twitch on purpose. This side that twitches on accident. Not this. It's up here.
Oh yeah, mine always happens lower.
Really? Mine is right here. I videoed it 4 times yesterday because I was losing my fucking mind. I had to know it was real. I couldn't handle my life anymore. Ernie, are they still listening to us?
Let us tell you about our ailments.
Let me talk to you about my eye twitch and how I have to stay on the couch all the time. Is it from stress? Yes, it is, actually.
Sure is, Dennis. It sure is.
It is 100% from stress, which is why I have claimed tomorrow I am not doing anything.
I'm so jealous.
I haven't done that, and I have children, so that's not ever an option.
Well, I've pushed off doing all of my other jobs.
No!
For the things I get paid for. I pushed off.
Listen, our free job is like way better than all the paying jobs.
Yeah, for sure.
So it needs to be a paying job. These are the people who are paying us. We love you.
I know.
Bless you. That's why we can
That's
keep
why we're
going.
here.
I know. That is
Yeah.
why we're here.
That's actually why I pushed off everything.
Because
thank
you
you.
are very loyal fiends.
Yeah.
Are here. Maybe my eye twitch will go away tomorrow. I'm gonna take a big nap. I'm gonna take magnesium.
You are in the nap house.
I am. I'm married into napdom.
Yeah.
With a K though, not actual sleeping naps.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Our relatives robbed people in Salem, Massachusetts, so that's good.
Yes.
They sure did.
They sure did.
I'll have to tell that story next
Mm-hmm.
Halloween. I'll save it. All right. I think that's it,
I think
guys.
that's
Do you
it.
have anything else? Any other questions, comments, compliments?
We do have to toast.
Oh yes, we do.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, first to all of you, we have a Nap Creek up here. Oh, okay. Maybe that was also named after us. I don't know. Aw, John, thank you for listening to us chit chat. You're gonna be here next time.
Chit chat corner.
Guys, I love when Leslie makes up theme songs.
I love a good theme.
You
song.
do love a good theme song. I may sing Sideshow randomly, but like she makes up
Yeah.
real theme songs for us.
I feel like that's me being like a 90s kid. We had like the best theme song.
We did. Oh my god. Have you ever heard the Baron Vaughn bit where he sings all the theme songs? Talks about like what bangers they are.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good. I went off track real far. Sorry. Oh yeah, so the next time we're live, John Radicasa, you're gonna be here with us. He's
Yeah.
gonna do some super rad holiday
Ooh,
special
It's
effects
gonna be
stuff.
so good.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm gonna make a craft. We're gonna
Mhm.
tell some ghost stories. We're gonna tell about all of the assorted holidays you may not have heard about. John's gonna give us a nice chat about Yule, which I'm
Yeah.
really excited
Mhm.
about because John is a practicing. John, do you go by Wiccan? Do you go by pagan? What do you like? So we
Tell
can.
us. Tell us what you
Yes, Jenny, you guessed it. Don't tell.
want. Don't let anyone know.
I think we're going to tell everyone anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yes, holiday extravaganza. Please, everyone dress as festively as
Yep.
possible and take 1,000 pictures of
Yes.
yourself.
Maybe we'll make a holiday drink.
We should make a holiday drink.
Mhm.
So my pal Jason, the Sideshow guy, is also a bartender. Maybe we can ask him.
Yeah.
Or what's your friend? Matt? Yes, maybe he could do another one for us too.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Do you guys want a holiday drink that we can all make together? That sound fun?
Tell us.
What's La Befana, Brian? Do I need to look that up? Yes, please. Okay, holiday cocktail. I got it. Duh. We're going to do it. I mean, I love a theme.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have a holiday Zoom party? Yes, we can have an
Oh, yeah.
after party. I think we
Mhm.
talked about that.
Yeah, we did talk about that one for you patrons. We
Mhm.
would do a Zoom.
Yeah, Italian Christmas witch. I will look that up.
Just like my aunts.
Stop. Don't
So,
call
my family.
Don't call Nana the Italian Christmas witch. She will not like it.
Oh no, I meant my Italian aunts. I don't
Okay.
consider her my Italian aunt.
Pagan. Okay, thank you, John. I want to make sure that I make sure you're correct. I'll give you the correct.
Mine's
title.
Aunt Donna, so
Aunt Donna. I don't know that one. Do I know
Donna
that
and
one?
Vincent.
Oh, that one. Okay, yes, I do know who you're talking about.
And there's Marie and Diane and
Your
Aunt
mother
Teeny.
is Diane. Oh, I know.
Aunt
Aunt Teeny
Teeny.
too. Yes. Sometimes they
Always
have
with the
very
treats.
big parties. I've only been to
They
one.
do
I was
just
extremely
fun.
pregnant.
oh yeah, that's when we had the guy from I think the Four Seasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the biggest party. I was very awkward and very pregnant and just was like,
Mhm.
Leslie, what do I do? It's a good time.
I was like, drink.
That's
That's right. And then I walked away from her.
Yeah.
How was
I know I didn't blame you because like you needed to make your way to the bar. It was a lot of night to have. What was I talking about?
I don't know.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What was
Toast.
it? Toast.
We were waiting for
Why do I have, are you guys
pagan.
texting me?
Oh, John's pagan.
Yes.
Okay.
I got that.
Wondrous.
Mm-hmm. So toast.
Yeah.
First of all, to all of you guys who hung out and
Thank you.
did this fun little night. Cheers to our
Cheers.
beautiful patrons. Love you, fiends. Four Seasons, the hotel or the Motown group?
The Motown group.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was a member in there, so
He was probably like winter, maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. They don't actually have seasons. That was a joke. You thought about it so hard.
I was trying to remember. I was like,
Mhm.
maybe. Do you remember? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That's it.
Who else should we toast to? The landscaping company. Yeah, we had a big family party at Four Seasons Total Landscaping. We were very ahead of our
Yes.
time. It was filthy. And I was very pregnant. What a time to be alive.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, cheers to an amazing
Aw,
podcast. Oh,
thank
thank
you.
you. And so I guess for our case, who do you want to toast to in yours?
Definitely Lily.
Yes.
Poor thing.
Also, Emily,
Emma Malie.
her friend.
All of her neighbors were
And they were
excellent.
like a little squad.
They were, yeah.
I love it that they
Mhm.
were like out to protect each other. So let's toast all of them. They were great.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, I would like to toast to Justin,
To their love.
to their love, and their tragic Nicholas Sparks story that I so want to be
I
real.
know. And you know that boy never felt like he really had. Like you know that he probably
He-
felt like there was something missing in his life. Like
Mhm.
he was never fully connected.
He looks like him too. And
Yeah.
I couldn't find any of this information, but I believe, and I have to go back and look, that when I listened to Red Handed's coverage of it, they say that the son was a dancer.
Oh.
So I think our version is real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
To their
Beautiful. Yes.
It's like a notebook story.
The Spies of Adelaide.
Oh, I'm gonna like watch the hell out of that when it happens.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Don't tell us that it was something awful, you guys. We're really into
No.
this. Oh Lord. And I think that's it. I think we're gonna go. I'm so sad. This was so fun. It's only, what time is it? Where am I? Who am I? 11:15. Yeah, we were succinct.
This is like how long our podcasts are. We did it.
Is it
Yeah.
an hour and 15 minutes?
Usually, yeah.
Or
Hour
do
15,
a little.
hour
I
30.
was gonna say a little more. Oh yeah, I guess sometimes they're like
Mhm.
Chris Watts is gonna be longer. I think. 24601. All right. Don't make me sing Sideshow again. I will.
Do it.
It has to be. It has to come to me. Who are you? You're the lamest guy. The tragedy. Is that your Nicholas Sparks moment?
Okay, goodbye.
Okay. And what you drinking? Oh, we're drinking a cupcake.
Yeah.
Cupcake cab. What are you guys drinking? Start writing that script.
Oh, Spies
John.
of Adelaide. I love it.
Oh Lord. You know, I when I'm worried about 1,000 fiction things, or they're all in my head. I just also write like 30 pages of podcast per week. So
One day.
one day I'll find the time. It's coming. It's coming. Don't worry. More projects in the following year. Our year anniversary is in February, you guys.
That's exciting.
It's bananas. We're gonna cover Bundy.
Okay.
That's got to be it. It's our origin story.
Sure.
We're on it. Yeah. I still haven't unpacked the bar. Jason, there are liquor stores everywhere. Everywhere. I like when you make Leslie cry from your intros. Listen,
It's like 50% of the time.
I like that too. When she goes, I'm Leslie.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing that it didn't happen this week. She does cry at one point though. It gets emotional.
Yeah.
We both got upset.
There were a couple times that I got chills during the Chris Watts one that like made me want to cry.
Ugh.
There was a couple things. Yeah.
We both got like kind of upset, like visibly upset during this one a couple
Yeah.
times.
Mm-hmm.
And that hasn't happened yet. Because
No.
we have hard black hearts.
No, this one just makes me so angry because it didn't have to happen this way.
And those babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful. On that downer ass note, everybody loves when I make you upset in the opening. So here's
Fantastic.
here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try really hard to make Leslie very upset. Maybe next time I probably could do it with freak show stuff. I think I could. We don't call them, well, no, that's what they called them. They called people, you were either like a human oddity and you were a freak, or you were a working act and you did stuff. I will explain all of this coming week. My buddy Jason is a working act, so you'll get to hear so much about that, which I am thrilled. So, anybody else? because we're gonna sign off, I'm gonna threaten you with a good time.
We still have half a bottle of wine.
I mean, we do still have wine left, so. Adios. Okay.
Adios.
And if we were a participant or victim of an unsolved mystery, we would be dead. And I hear the music.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the music?
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
We did it.